So today, man, I would like to help you understand what God is better. Because no one really ever explicitly tells you, by the way, this is what you will feel when you're feeling the presence of God, when you're feeling divinity. Right, so let's talk about this a little bit. So God, the most misunderstood thing about God, for me at least, man, is that it's here, but it's actually beyond your mind. So right now, for you to even get close to God, you got to drop your mind. And the truth is, man, it's so difficult and so advanced to do that. Most people never do. So most people never actually experience God in practice. But if you do end up getting close, maybe it's meditation, maybe it's a psychedelic, maybe it's some yoga, regardless of your method, there's an experience that you want to be looking out for. And that is once you've moved out beyond the mind and you're in an altered state of consciousness, there's something that you can feel into. It's not going to be something you're thinking. It's not going to be something you're doing. It's feeling into it. It's introspecting. It's tuning into it. And what this is it's a presence, so a deep presence, which is you, by the way, which is absolutely loving. So both the presence and the love is absolute, meaning it can't not be exactly that. And it's fully that. It's totally loving. And it just is exactly what it is. So this is why when you experience awakening, it's non-dual. There's nothing but this one thing, which is this loving presence. And it's so profound because you realize that the presence itself, sometimes when I've been having experiences, it's as if I realize that the the presence literally is love. For most people, man, they'll never create for themselves an experience of metaphysical love because, dude, this is so advanced what we're talking about. I know you know this is really advanced, but we speak about it anyway. Because if you experience this, I'll be honest, man, you will feel like communicating it is a little bit futile. But it's my job to do that regardless, because as you're, treading the spiritual path, man, it's really hard to know whether you're getting close. So I share this to help you refine your understanding of what God is and what to expect experientially as you're doing this work, as you're meditating, as your consciousness shifts, as you feel love. And not as an emotion. Some people who are not very intuitive might hear love and they might not really understand its profundity. They might not understand its spiritual nature. They might hear love as some lovey-dovey thing. No. Love, really, what we're talking about is a love out beyond the mind. It's God's love. Fuck, it's so hard to talk about this, man. Especially if I'm doing spiritual work sober. I only get flickers and glimpses of truth, God, and awakening. But if I do, even just the tiniest little glimpse will be like, oh, there it was. And the only reason you feel it is because for about a second, your mind temporarily was suspended. Your mind dropped away. I don't know if you have this, man, but sometimes before I go to bed, as I'm kind of drifting into that kind of sleep state, I notice that I sort of have like very small glimpses, spiritual glimpses of truth in God. And sometimes I feel like a very deep relaxation, like this life thing that you're worried about, my friend, relax. That's how it feels for me. So to help you really get this, man, I want you to understand this phrase, God is a loving presence out beyond your mind. And I want you to actually, we're going to flip it around. So we're going to start with God is beyond your mind. The reason we start with this is because it is impossible to come close to understanding what God is experientially if you're still within the ego mind. This is because your mind is literally there on purpose to obscure your true nature, God. So when we're working within the realm of the mind, dude, it's kind of pointless, right? So the first thing we got to do is go beyond the mind. We got to shift consciousness. Now, again, that's way easier said than done. But still, I think it's worth knowing this stuff conceptually well so that when we come to do it, we're like, okay, right, oh, I'm still in the mind. So the next part of this is presence. The only way you will arrive at God, experiencing God, is if you are extremely present, if you are extraordinarily present. Dude, you've got to be so present, you actually got to go beyond your human self. So, when when spiritual humans say, oh, I'm really present today, or I'm feeling more present after that meditation. To God, this means nothing, because this is just human presence. This is just presence, but for the human. God is transhuman, so it's way beyond the human. Now, what you'll notice, man, is that it is incredibly hard to become present. Even just as a human, it's difficult sometimes to become fully present. But we're saying to not just become fully present, but to become extremely present, godly levels of presence, even alien levels of presence and consciousness, if you really want to understand God. Now, dude, the reality is, it's insanely difficult to experience or achieve these levels of presence. So this is why some people who are very, very serious about truth, God, awakening, might use a psychedelic. They might become a psychonaut. They might explore consciousness because they understand that using that tool, which is like a rocket ship, will give them these alien levels of presence, these godly levels of presence, which show them, right, this is where God hangs out. It's in these states of consciousness. I mean, really, God is all states of consciousness. You are God right now. But for God to become aware of itself, this is awakening. Awakening is realizing yourself as God. So, I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm just letting you know that's what some people do. If they're serious, they will, use these tools. Now, what about the last part? So the last part, again, if we're flipping it around, is the love. Okay. So, how do we talk about love? Okay, I'll be completely honest, man. It's almost impossible to convey God's love through language. Honestly, the best thing I could do right now is probably just be quiet and be silent. And just for a minute, I'm going to do that. One thing that one can try and do is almost like a transmission. You come across this, man, where you realize that language will fail you. Words fall short. So the best thing you can do is just be still, be quiet, and transmit love and presence through your own eyes, through your own energy. And this is a weird sort of space, man, because it's where things become very real. When you're open to, we could say, strong eye contact, eye gazing, receiving energy, giving energy, you start to kind of feel it. The truth is, man, when I started this work, I do meditation on my own because that was safe, but I would not want to be eye gazing with someone who could transmit God's love and presence. That would freak me out. And do you know why we avoid this so much? It's because our egos are actually extremely intelligent and they know to avoid the truth. So pretty much, man, you'll do anything you can to avoid just sitting in front of someone who has, connection to truth, and essentially let yourself die to that. To feel God's love, God's presence, this is a viable way. This is a legitimate method. I know that it can seem weird, but something in me wants to do it again right now with you. And I want to say that I am aware of the trap, the spiritual ego trap, which is, let me look super cool and present and conscious at you, and let me transmit loads of presence and love. I see that. I'm not coming from that place. I'm not trying to come from that place. What I'm trying to do is actually surrender, but also to be witnessed in that surrender. It's very powerful to be witnessed, I'm learning, as you show what's true about you. And as you know, the deepest, truest thing about me and you is love and God, which we can experience through silence. So, just for about 10 seconds, I'm going to go in with you again. And this is like, I don't know if you've ever been to an Enlightenment intensive. This is how it's like. You sit opposite someone and effectively you let your God self come through as you're both doing an inquiry. So anyway, I'm going to let my self come through right now just because I can. Okay, so I'm feeling it. So as I concentrate on you or the camera, my mind goes away. Times like this, by the way, your body will probably release lots of tension, so it's normal to want to breathe out or like relax because you're being what's true. And the stress and the tension is your ego, and it's just, being released. So, as you concentrate, focus upon the presence, which you can feel has no agenda and just loves you. Not about me, not about you. What's beyond that? This is where spiritual work gets very real, kind of scary, and you're like, oh, holy motherfucking shit. Okay, I didn't realize it was this. And you just give yourself over. So, I don't know what you've experienced there, but for me, I experienced a sense of God's love. I experienced deep presence. I didn't experience, profound awakening, but I experienced something. And for me, man, it's a little bit, you could say, of a challenge to show you that, because of how my mind for so many years framed that as like awkward, or framed that as weird, or something that you shouldn't do. And hopefully as well, you pick something up from it. I hope that helped on some level. Remember, final thing, remember to feel God's love and God's presence beyond your mind, dude. It's extremely advanced. It would be foolish to leave this video and just to try and, manufacture this experience. Just plant the seed and let your spiritual practice for the next 5, 10, 15 years show you that it's possible. Okay? Cool. All right. My friend, take care. And as always, my friend, peace.